Hey, in today's video, let's talk about the difference between a Scrum Master and a Product Manager, or also alternatively, a Product Owner. A Scrum Master is a person that typically will follow the Scrum methodology, and usually their main responsibility is helping the development teams adopting Agile. A Product Manager or a Product Owner is going to drive the development of products. They typically will make strategic decisions of what gets implemented into the product and also will prioritize over different features that are going to be built on the product. Many times the product manager is considered the CEO of the product. This is probably a little bit inflated title, but what they want to do is that they want to bring the voice of the customer, understand the customer problems, and bring that voice of the customers to the developers and the engineering teams that are actually then developing that product. So in this video, let's talk about what are the differences between a Scrum Master and a Product Manager, what are their responsibilities, and how they can work together. By the way, I'm talking generally about Product Manager. I know that in many cases, this position is going to be fulfilled by somebody with the title of Product Owner. So if you don't know what Agile is, there are a lot of places where you can find information about what a Scrum Master does, and I will link those resources down below. But if you are not familiar with what a Scrum Master does and what Agile is, you could think about a Scrum Master as somebody that is acting as a project manager. But let's come back in detail. What does this mean in practice? Because there's quite many differences with a traditional project manager. And if you're a Scrum Master or somebody that's very passionate about Agile, please don't kill me because of what I just said. So there are many roles that a Scrum Master is going to fulfill, and I will be going through some of those ones that are described in scrum.org. A Scrum Master is going to serve the Scrum team. What they're going to do is that they're going to coach members to take ownership, to be self-driven, and also to work cross-functionally. Meaning cross-functionally is that they are going to work with people that have different responsibilities that their own. What you want to avoid in Agile is that you don't want to follow like a waterfall process where people work in niches. You want that people can work in parallel on different tasks and they can align on the scope of the project from the get-go and don't do it afterwards. They will help also the Scrum team developing incrementally and delivering value to their customer. And they are also going to make sure that anybody in the team understands what is expected of them by having a definition of done. A definition of done is going to help people understand what does it mean that I have finalized, for example, a task. It's not just that I have coded it, for example. It might be that it has been reviewed by somebody else. It might be that I added all the metrics to track the successful implementation of a feature. It can mean many things. They are also going to look at how to remove impediments for the team. This is one of the most important things from the daily stand-up, which sometimes people tend to misunderstand by a daily reporting, which is not necessarily that. What you want to do with a daily stand-up is just to understand what you're working with and are there any dependencies towards somebody else. So you want to be able to help the team to remove those dependencies and facilitate the work to progress. And then the Scrum Master is going to be facilitating all the Scrum events that take place. So think about retros, planning sessions, daily stand-ups, reviews, and so on. The Scrum Master, of course, is going to work very closely with the Product Manager, or in maybe some cases the Product Owner, to make sure that the work is understood and properly defined. So first of all, if you're working in a company where people don't know what a Scrum is or Agile is, the Scrum Master is going to help the Product Manager or the Product Owner understand Agile and the way of implementing it. In Agile, what you're going to work is with a backlog that you have organized, prioritized, and that is going to help define the tasks and potentially the epics or however you are tracking those in your company for the teams to work with. What the Scrum Master together with the Product Manager are going to have are these planning sessions. They're going to organize also backlog refinement sessions that are going to help the teams understand the scope of the tasks that are defined. So user stories, so on. This collaboration is very important. So all the collaboration on the task happens before the planning. So while you're doing backlog refinement. So in the moment that you had to start working with a task, everything is clear and everybody can start working. Well, the world is not perfect. It's not going to work every time. But you get the drill. The Scrum Master also, the goal is that they want to facilitate stakeholder management. You could argue that in some cases this is going to be done by the PM, and it's true that many companies that I work, that's more done by the PM than necessarily by the Scrum Master, but there can be a combination of both. And sometimes is going to be work that they collaboratively try to achieve together. The product manager, on the other hand, is going to focus more on defining what is going to happen in the future with the product, looking forward. How can they bring customers through the products that they are building? This means that how can I add new features equaling new value for those customers, and how can I make sure that I'm delivering them in a timely manner and also that I'm delivering them in an agile way. This can be many things. It can be looking into MVPs. How can I validate value? How can I have validated learning on the developments that I'm doing? And yes, if you're a company that is delivering one version per year, that can hardly be called agile. Agile and agile product management means that you want to deliver continuous value to your customers. So for a product manager, once you understand what's your vision, what's your strategy, how are you going to get to that vision, then you are going to start planning, ideally together with your customers or your potential users, what your product is going to be, and learn on the journey with them. How you're going to do in practice is that you're going to be building features in the product that bring value to your customers. These features are going to have stories, they're going to have tasks, those are going to be organized in a backlog, and here is also where you're working a lot with your Scrum Master to prioritize those tasks, to make sure that all the information required for the development team to act on those tasks is there, and how also do you make this information visible and publicly available for everybody in the company. So Scrum Masters and Product Managers and Product Owners are a very strong and important pair in your organization. You have to make sure that these people can work really well together, because in the end, the successful execution on the product is going to be very heavily relying on this pair and the collaboration between them to be as seamless as possible. This doesn't mean that, of course, your engineering team is going to be very, very important. That's a different story. But if you don't get these two people to work together and align and have a common understanding and common culture of ways of working, it's going to be difficult to make this engine work. So make sure that when you are working with a Scrum Master, if you are a Product Manager or vice versa, that you understand and have commonly agreed ways of working. This is going to help you a lot when trying to succeed. Plus all the other things that you have to have there, like validated learning, making sure that the problem that you're solving is a real problem, making sure that the solution that you're building, you get the drill. By the way, how about you? Do you have Product Managers or Product Owners in your organization? This is an interesting one. There's always this conversation that do you need Product Owners or you don't need Product Owners when you have Product Managers, or do you only have Product Owners? Let us know in the comments below. But if you want to see a video about what I think about having Product Owners and Product Managers together, go and check out this video up here. I will see you in the next video, and remember, stay safe.